a special meeting for the Hadley Housing Authority Board of Commissioners, Tuesday, February 4th, 2025 at 11 a.m. We're in the Golden Court Community Room. The agenda is to discussion and deliberation of code of conduct first draft and vote on changes and or adoption. And that's the only matter we will discuss during this meeting according to the agenda. So I'll open it up. We need a motion first. Who would like to make a motion?
I'm just reading this over a little bit more before I make a motion for anything. Do you mind?
Well, the motion is that
To accept it, correct?
not until, we would first vote on any changes or adoption. So we can make the motion and then we can have discussion.
But I haven't read it through, so I don't want to motion.
Okay.
That's what I was saying. I just want to give it a look, see again.
Okay. Rich, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm all set to go with.
Yeah, I mean, you helped write it. We worked together on writing it, so I bet you're very familiar. We can go line by line and do a read through. That might be helpful.
I thought we should do that probably.
I think so.
Yeah, that's.
So Crystal, that would help.
Yeah.
Would you like to start reading through?
Oh, so, okay.
Yeah.
Number one, purpose. The Code of Conduct policy serves as the standard for achieving and maintaining public confidence, trust, and professional respect with regard to the Hadley Housing Authority Board of Commissioners and how it conducts business on behalf of the Hadley Housing Authority.
So I'm going to stop right there because when we do something like this, it's helpful to go paragraph by
I know
paragraph.
that. I was just going to give the acronym.
I'm just speaking to the general, okay? Is there anything in that first paragraph marked purpose that anyone has any changes or would like to change any part of?
So as I was going to continue and state, the acronym for the Authority Board of Commissioners, BOC, and the acronym for Hadley Housing Authority is HHA. So going forward, if we mention those acronyms, that's what we're referring to.
So again, do either of you have any comments or changes, recommendations for edits of any kind off that first paragraph?
I don't.
I don't either. So please continue.
Okay.
Thank you.
Applicability. This policy and all its sections shall apply to all elected and appointed commissioners. Covers their actions and communications, whether spoken or written, including but not limited to all electronic communications, whether acting within or outside of their official capacity.
Oh, right. And regarding that paragraph on applicability, does anyone have any changes? Edits? Nothing? Okay, let's move down to the section 3.
Code of Conduct, Section 3. All commissioners assume the following obligations and commitments. The BOC recognizes that all individuals elected and or appointed to the BOC must maintain and enforce respectful discourse with their fellow commissioners, employees of the HHA or its managing agent, persons contracted by HHA, employees of state agencies and departments, including the Executive Office of Housing and Livable Communities, acronym EOHLC, persons employed by or serving on the board of other housing authorities, those who either work or volunteer for the town of Hadley, acronym TOWN, TOWN, tenants and members of the public, by striving at every interaction, meeting, forum, whether official or unofficial, to treat every person fairly and with respect, regardless of any difference of opinion. The HHA BOC further recognizes that commissioners must comply with the EOHLC rules and regulations, open meeting laws and its rulings, the Ethics Commission and its rulings, and the recommendations of the Inspector General's guidance, all of which inform acceptable behavior and actions of the BOC, as well as those of individual commissioners.
All right, does anybody have any
I'm good with it.
Yeah.
I'm good too. I don't have anything to add.
Okay.
So, you're doing such a great job.
Oh, I know, I love reading.
I know. You're
I've been
doing
reading
great.
since I was a baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, section A, under code of conduct, which is section 3. So you want to continue?
A, conduct in relation to the Board of Commissioners. Commissioners shall not disrespect, abuse, slander, and/or act in a threatening manner towards fellow commissioners. Treat all fellow commissioners with respect despite differences of opinion, keeping in mind that professional respect does not preclude honest differences of opinion, but requires respect within those differences. Participate and interact in official meetings with dignity and decorum befitting those who hold a position of public trust. Not speak for or negotiate on behalf of the BOC or discuss any matter involving the fiduciary responsibilities of the BOC. In parentheses, it states legal, financial, ED oversight, or HHA policies, parentheses, outside of a BOC official meeting with any third party without the majority of a quorum vote of the BOC authorizing doing so. Attend all meetings to assure quorum and promptly notify the chair should they for any reason be unable to attend or unwilling to continue to serve. Unexcused absences for 3 consecutive BOC meetings requires notice to the select board by the chair for its consideration to remove the absent commissioner. One moment.
Thank you.
Formal notice to resign from the BOC requires written notification to the chair, the ED, and town clerk. Recognize that official legal meetings require public notice. We have here https://
I don't think we need to read
Oh,
out.
you don't need the whole, okay.
Don't read out the website.
Okay.
It's just the website for.
Okay, and a quorum of 3 commissioners. Actions taken at official meetings are binding, and that no individual commissioner alone can bind the BOC outside of such meetings. Not make statements or promises as to how they will vote on matters that will come before the BOC until they have had an opportunity to hear the pros and cons of the issue during a public meeting. Uphold the intent of executive sessions and respect the privileged communication that exists in executive sessions. Safeguard all confidential communication. Accept their position as a means of unselfish public service and do not benefit personally, professionally, or financially from their BOC position. Never use position on the BOC to seek favors for themselves or others with whom they have a personal or business relationship, and understand that personal, aggrandizement or profit secured by one's position as a commissioner is often dishonest and would be unlawful. Conduct themselves so as to maintain public confidence and the integrity of the HHA. Conduct official business in such a manner that they cannot be improperly influenced in the performance of their official duties by anyone. Conduct business of the BOC in a manner that promotes open and transparent government and maintains full compliance with open meeting law. Comply with all applicable laws, rules, regulations, and training requirements, including the following. Executive Office of Housing and Livable Communities, acronym EOHLC. We have also public housing notices and we have the website. The open meeting law, we have the website as well. The Ethics Commissions and Conflict of Interest Statute, we have the website. Office of the Inspector General publication, in quotations, How to be an Effective Member of the Public Board of Commissioners, October 2024, in parentheses, and we have the website.
All right. So, Rich, do you have anything you'd like done differently there?
No, not at all.
Crystal?
Yes, under A,
Mm-hmm.
let's see what.
And I'm going to make the changes on my copy here, okay? And then we can approve them all at once or one by one, whatever works best, okay? So under A, go ahead.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dots, that bullet points down where it says attend all meetings to assure quorum and promptly notify the chair should they for any reason be unable to attend or willing to continue to serve. unexcused absence for 3 consecutive BOC meetings require notice to be sent to the select board for its consideration to remove the absent commissioner. Now, there may be issues that a commissioner cannot notify anyone that they are absent, but would love to continue on the board. So I don't think it should be to remove them. I think we should come up with a different resolution than just to totally remove them. Maybe they can receive some sort of written warning, or they can be spoken to, but give them a chance to rectify not coming.
Yeah.
For
that-
3 consecutive meetings?
Yeah, if they're in a hospital and something, you never know what can happen.
Yeah.
We can't call.
I think we need
Some of
to,
us don't
Yeah, the
have
point
family.
there, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
but we have had before.
And that guy, what is his name?
Well, we're not gonna talk names here.
Oh, yeah, but,
But before you came on the board, we had a commissioner who did not communicate.
for months,
Uh-huh.
right? Yeah.
So this is, by the way, standard language. That's why it says unexcused absence. When
Right.
somebody's in the hospital, then absolutely.
Right, that's why I
And
said
we
you
did
should
not remove him from the board or
Right.
ask the select board to remove him from the board because we knew the circumstance.
Right.
We just couldn't get any communication.
Right.
This is the standard language, but if you'd like to alter the standard language, then we can.
Yeah, I mean, if this is what's, I can get my copy, let's see. So you're saying this is the standard language from the official policy?
Yeah, well, we don't have an official
I mean,
policy as our
the
policy.
town,
No, if you look at the town's code of conduct, which I've got on here somewhere, but they say that's the State Interlocal Insurance Association, and MIIA, which is the state, like how I found it, was some state group, Massachusetts Municipal Association or something.
Say, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
But also, it's in several things like that. For instance, you cannot have a board where members just don't show up, and we have to have a way for them to communicate,
Right.
and tell them if you don't communicate and it's unexcused and you just don't show up for 3 in a row, that's not okay. Most housing authorities use this language, specific to housing authorities, because it has happened in the past. You can't get a quorum. You can't even get new board members because you got 2 members on the board, but they're not showing. And that's the problem. We work with tight numbers.
hopefully we'll have more people come join us that will be able to abide by the rules. But again, there can be certain situations where someone may be ill and have no family members, can't reach out, and we do not know how to reach them. So my consideration for this is definitely respected, and I just would like to switch it so
What
Notice to the
language
select-
would you prefer?
notice to the select board by the chair from notification from the member so if they're absent 3 times and they don't reach out, then you can proceed or start the process of removing them. And then
We can't remove
I'm talking
them.
about when you notify the chair. I'm trying to add it in. And after the 4th absence, then the resignation. So we will notify the chair, notify the town, the chair will notify the town, select board. This commissioner has been absent 3 times. We're not sure what's going on, we don't know what's happening. We're giving you another chance to contact you. The 4th meeting, if they do not show up, then we will proceed with to ask you to formally have them resign.
I kind of like to stick with the standard language.
I don't think that's going to be acceptable because I think we need to give people a chance.
Well, but they do, they have 3 months of chance.
And you never know what the circumstances may be.
Right.
So I'm just trying to. look
No,
out
I
for them, that's all.
understand. I'm just encouraging us to stick with the standard language.
No, I understand, I appreciate
Yeah.
that, and I'm just
So-
suggesting that
so
we reach
what
out
do
to
you
the
think,
town select
Rich?
board and.
If they're on the board, we should have contact information about the
Yeah.
person anyways.
We do, we have their
Let's say
address.
someone falls or, I don't want to say bad stuff, maybe coma, diabetic or whatever. There's medical things that can prevent someone.
That's true.
So 3 times, okay, but if they don't come the 3rd time, then we can reach out to the select board and say, hey, this commissioner hasn't been here. If they miss another one, we'd like to proceed, or the chair would say, we'd like to proceed with resigning. Because you never know, after the 3rd time, they may just come out the hospital, maybe they're recuperating, you never know. Some people don't have cell phones, some people do not have computers, and then again, some commissioners do not reach out to other select board members, so we can't rely on.
You mean to the housing
To the other commissioners. Some commissioners do not reach out to other commissioners for their well-being. I'm just saying we should give them a chance instead of after the 3rd time, just resign them. I just think maybe we should see if they come the 4th time. If not, then we can resign them. I'm not asking for.
We cannot
6
resign them.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah.
6 months, 7 months, knowing that someone's not here, that's not acceptable.
Again, well, Rich, you've been on the board a long time, and I think you're thinking, what do you think?
I still feel that, after 3 months, if they don't show, the chair should contact a family member or something, see what's going on. And then work from there. If they can't, if they're still sick or something, then we could go to, decide what we're gonna do.
So after the 3rd time, you're saying, we should reach out to them after 3 months?
After
Okay.
3, see what's going on.
Right,
Well-
and then if they don't show up the 4th time, are you saying we should then or the chair should notify the board, the select board too?
What you might not know is the chair, when somebody doesn't show and they haven't, because we already have in there, let the chair know if you can't come. The chair, every chair I've seen reaches out. I certainly reach out when somebody's a no-show and they're commissioner, and I find out what's going on. If there's no answer, there's no answer. I find out what's going on. Because you're right, it could be a very sad situation, but we'd still need to know about it. I think one of the reasons it's 3 months, especially in housing, it's 3 months everywhere else either, or 3 meetings, I should say. Because sometimes housing is done based on quarters. So we have all these financial documents we have to approve, and if we don't have a quorum, we're in trouble on our audits.
Yeah.
That's why we say 3 months, because everything is done on a quarterly basis. We have to get those financials approved so we can get our money and run the housing authority.
Right, that's understandable.
That's why 3 months. It's not about not giving somebody a chance. The chair, I assure you, has already been on the phone, checking in. The chair talks to the commissioners when needed.
We would have a quorum with 3 though, wouldn't we?
Well, we would right now, but
Okay.
it looks like we're going to be down to 3 people.
But we would have a quorum still.
And if one of them doesn't show up for 3 months, we've only got 2 and no quorum. Do you see
We're
the
going
problem?
forward though, so we're not trying to base the situation on what's happened personally or professionally with the commissioners and their disagreements or agreements. This is something that's going to become a policy. And that's why I say, we may have members on this board who are younger. We may have members on this board who have family members. We may have members on this board who need to reach out and have gone out of state and just have so much going on. I just do not think after the 3rd time they need to be dismissed. I think, as Rich stated,
We're not dismissing them.
it says here.
No.
After 3 consecutive meetings requires notice to the select board for its consideration to remove the absent commissioner.
And there you go.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it says and why.
Right.
For the Board of Housing can't remove a commissioner. Only the select, no.
Rich understands
no.
what I mean. From now on, I will speak verbatim, just so you understand.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Crystal, please, that's a little hostile. What I'm saying is, Rich and I are saying the standard language for the select board's consideration to remove the absent commissioner. And what we found out before is the select board generally knows everybody in town. They know how to get a hold of people. They're not going to remove somebody if they know you know, in our case, that something's going on. And we didn't even ask them
Yeah.
to, when somebody didn't show up. We wouldn't do it.
But I do agree with Rich. And-
But I think really the big word is consideration.
It's
Right, but if they
yeah.
go by what we're saying, we're the ones saying, hey, can you consider, this person hasn't been here for 3 months, we would like them to be removed.
We're not saying that for its consideration to remove the absent commissioner. The select board is the only one that can remove.
Exactly.
Okay.
Because
We're
you
asking,
said you said that the BOC cannot, so we're asking, I know, so we're asking if they can consider removing this person because they have not shown up for 3 months.
right, and what would happen in the situation you're talking about? Somebody on that select board knows them and their family and knows what's going
And what
on.
if they do not?
And it is more information. They'll check around, they do. It's just more people who are likely gonna know the commissioner. They're not gonna take somebody off who's still in the hospital with a fractured hip or something. So,
What if they do not know the person? Again, we're going to have younger members on the board, they may not know everybody on the board.
that's all
The select
true.
town board didn't know me.
But well, you're on all those committees, honey, they know you.
I'm talking about when I first started, sweetie.
Right,
Yeah, they
so,
didn't know who I was.
yeah, but now they do.
Yeah, but we're talking about going forward, not what they know now.
So let's go forward, because I'm telling you, we need people to show up.
We do.
We need to use the standard language used in housing authorities.
I just think we should give.
Anyway, that's my
chance.
input,
Right.
and you disagree.
Rich, what would you like to be done? Do you want to, as you said, do you want to see?
We're
if
not
we
calling
can
for a
reach
vote
out?
right now.
I'm not asking for a vote, I'm
We're
asking
having
for Rich's
deliberation,
understanding.
and we're not gonna
Please,
ask.
can you please stop cutting me off? And please allow me to talk to Rich. I'm just asking him for his opinion, not voting or anything. I just want.
Rich, what is your opinion? You have the floor.
Did you want to go with, if, like you said, if we don't see them, maybe we could try to find out, and then the 4th month?
So you kind of want to redo this paragraph here.
Just that little bit, see, I wrote here, chairperson requires notice to select board
How would you want to rewrite that?
from notification of the member. So if we do not hear from the member by the 4th month, to consider to remove them, because after the 3rd month, I think we should, even after the 2nd month, I think someone on the board should try to find something out. You know what I mean, to make sure they're okay, so we don't even have to go to the 4th or the 3rd. But at least this gives us, as the commissioners, something to start working on. So if that person is not here for 2 months and we haven't heard from them, maybe we can start to reach out on our own.
So after 2 months, you'd rather have the chair start looking into where to,
What's going on?
okay.
Can they look before 2 months?
They can look whenever they like. But
Okay,
I'm
so
saying
how
some
do you
people-
want it written? How's your
what else do
proposal?
No, that sounds reasonable, I think.
Okay,
Yeah.
so,
So I need the
after 2 months,
verbiage you
the
want.
commissioners should start to inquire about the well-being. So after 2 months,
After 2
We
months.
cannot talk about well-being and stuff like that in this document.
okay, then how would you phrase it?
I'm not, I don't.
Check on
you
the commissioner
need
that's
to-
absent?
You can't say
Okay,
things
so
like
then
that.
let me take my time to come up with the
Okay,
paper.
okay. Shall we move on? while
No,
you-
because I'm not going to be able
Okay.
to read until I come up with this.
Okay.
Since you, okay.
Section 1B of general laws, Chapter 131, gives us the language that would be appropriate to use. It goes into a lot more detail, but, and sickness is an excused absence.
What does it say for sickness?
It says the absence of a board member from 3 consecutive, we could add that, meetings, except for sickness, supported by the certificate of a physician, shall be termed neglect of duty and shall be a cause for removal as provided herein.
How's that?
Okay, all right.
Yeah, that's good.
And that's why I say, and Rich and I say in this, unexcused.
Right, but that specifies it a little bit clearer. Letting them know that, because they're going to receive this, whomever comes on the board. So they will know ahead of time, this is what we need if you're going to be absent. We do need a doctor's note to excuse you.
Okay.
After that, after the third time, it's not acceptable.
Okay, so we can say, so should we just use this same language? I've got to copy it and move it over then. I mean, again, we have to keep the language, we can't remove them. We just have to revert to the select board.
Right.
Okay, so let me get back to that. And I'll put it in red because I gotta know.
What site? I'm just trying to find that site you're on.
Okay, so we'd have to change this and say, because it says right now, and shall be a cause for removal as provided herein, but we would have to say, requires a notice to the select board by the chair for its consideration to remove the absent commissioner.
Where's this so I can read along with you? Where do you see that?
I was reading off the masslegislature.gov website. Let's see, title, I'm going to think that's 19, chapter 131, section 1B. And it reads, the absence of a board member from 3 consecutive meetings, comma, except for sickness supported by the certificate of a physician, comma, shall be termed neglect of duty, comma, and shall be a cause for removal as provided herein. We would have to say, add that part Rich and I came up with for its consideration to remove the absent commissioner. Notice to the select board by the chair for its consideration to remove the absent commissioner, because we have no power to do that.
I looked up Mass Legislative Rule.
Okay, so
I'm
MAlegislature.gov.
on that.
Okay.
I'm on the website.
So you're going to be looking for general laws, part 1, title X, Roman numeral
Wait a minute, I
I.
have to search them on my phone.
Okay. X,
General laws.
part 1, title X, I,
Roman numeral 11? Or just 10?
I wouldn't say so. I think this
XI?
is 19. X, I, X.
Oh, XIX.
Yeah. And then chapter 131, section 1B. And that should take you right to removal of board members.
This is it.
I don't think
Search
you're
for general laws,
to
part
chapter
1,
131. You need to get to chapter 131.
131?
Mhm.
So not part, chapter.
No. General laws, part 1.
Right.
Title 19, done in Roman numerals, XIX, chapter 131, section 1B. And then it's 3/4 of the way down the first paragraph. Item
Title, your laws, part one.
I can't, just a second, let me get glasses on. Show me again what you got. What happened to it? You gotta bring it over a little closer.
I can turn the light up if you.
That just gets you to general laws,
Right.
part 1.
1B,
but-
title XIX, you said.
Okay. You need to go general laws, you
General
got
law.
that. Part 1,
Part one, you said.
title XIX, you got that. Section 1B, then chapter 131.
So it's not general laws, part 1B, it's just part one?
It is.
Okay. Just making
Okay,
sure
look
I have
at
it.
this
Yes, I can see
screen.
where you're at.
Yeah.
This would help a lot. Okay, thank you.
I've highlighted the,
Laws. Maybe I just can't bring it up. But it's the
but
same
but you can
exact-
read that section there,
Yeah,
right?
but we're amending it, so if we're going to modify it, we all need to see what you're saying. Or you're just gonna write it down and then let us read it? Because I want to compare it to what's being said, that's the reason why I was looking at it.
Well, I've already put it up on the draft we're working on today.
So I think the only thing we would need to add is the absence, unless illness, must be confirmed with the doctor's note. And then, that's the only part we need added in. And then just include the rest.
Well, that's what I already did.
Oh,
So-
you said we have to say it differently, and that's why.
We do, we have to, because from what, the two of you said, okay, what the
We
What's the
excluded that,
law?
we're not doing that.
what the law says.
Mhm.
I copied and pasted that section of the law that you saw highlighted.
Down a lot.
Okay, I put it in there. We have to take out, and shall be cause for removal is provided herein. We have to take that out because we have no authority. And then we have to add what Rich and I already wrote, that requires notice to the select board by the chair for its consideration to remove the absent commissioner. All we can do is ask the select board to consider removal. That's all we
We're
can do.
leaving that.
I know, that's what I'm saying, but we
Yeah.
have to put it together with what you all wanted to be put
No.
from the law.
Right, okay, so let's see what you have, and then we'll.
Well, as I just read, so it would be attend, you might want to write it down on your thing. Attend all meetings to assure a quorum and promptly notify the chair should they for any reason be unable to attend or unwilling to continue to serve. Now, this next part comes straight from the law. The absence of a board member from 3 consecutive meetings, except for sickness supported by the certificate of a physician, comma, shall be termed neglect of duty. And that's when we have to add, we can't say, and shall be a cause for removal, because we can't remove. We have to somehow put in there that the chair notifies the select board. That's the language we need to work on now. That gives your things,
Can there be a period after the illness and the neglect, and then say the chair will then notify the board?
we already have it, it's 3 consecutive meetings.
So what are you asking then?
But I'm not asking a thing. I'm just telling you what you all wanted to change.
Right,
You seem to want the actual law put in there that is 3 consecutive unexcused absences. An excused absence is for medical reasons,
Right.
clearly by the law.
right.
So, because it says clearly in the law, except for sickness supported by the certificate of a physician,
Right,
shall be termed neglect of duty and shall be a cause for removal.
period.
Yes.
Okay.
Then we have to give the chair direction that the chair is responsible to notify the select board for their consideration about, and it doesn't have anything to do with people who are sick. It has to do with people who have neglected duty. Because clearly the law says it's not about somebody being sick. We could put 3 in a row because of a board of commissioners has to have a quorum to deal with our financials and our legals. But if you don't want to do that, then whether somebody's sick or not, then we need to adhere to what the law is.
Can I read that and see what I may?
Yeah.
Didn't we say after 2 months, the chair is
Yes, that's, we're going.
Well,
I know
what
it's
I'm
a-
saying is, we either go by the state law or we protect ourselves by going by 3 unexcused absences, and that's really.
Well, we can still go by the state law, but after the second meeting, the chair could start looking into the problem.
Yeah, but the chair is gonna be looking in after the first missed meeting, because I'm gonna be
Well, we're going
looking
to
out
have.
for whoever's the chair.
This is policy that's going forward, so in case there's another chair, we would like after, they may not be as, persistent as you, and they may not do it, so it has to be in policy after the second Ms.
Right,
Means,
so
we want
I'm
to do that.
suggesting we look after if somebody's got an unexcused absence, the chair contacts them. Because clearly, we've already said in this, if we adopt it, that they have to let the chair know if they're not attending. So if they don't attend and they don't let the chair know, the chair then is gonna look into that.
But if the chair cannot get any information, then what? The chair
Then
will continue-
we're hung up
Then
with
you-
not getting our financials.
That's why I
because we
say
don't
the
have a quorum.
second month. Because the first month, the person may not be able to respond or the.
Right.
Right, so after the second month, I would say that's when you do, as they say, the investigation. Because someone may be recuperating from an illness or surgery. and
Which
they
is none
just-
of our business and they don't have to
And
disclose
they
it.
may not want to
Yeah.
be around public. But after the second month, you give them that first month, they come out and then you're starting to heal.
That's reasonable, yes.
And then the second month, you want to.
Okay, so write it up. You want the change, write it up.
That's why I second to the words that you've already put down there.
It's, okay. You want me to make this bigger?
No, fine. Do you mind if I just take a photo of this
Go
one?
right ahead.
Thank you. So I can't put down, ask about the whereabouts, I can't put down. Find out
You can't
if the
even put,
commissioner would like to continue on. So I have to come up with the wording, verbiage stating how the commissioner will then take after 2 months of the absence of that said commissioner. The chair will then make inquiries about the well-being or the whereabouts of the missing.
no, we actually can, a chair can ask a commissioner if they would like to continue or they would like to resign.
Okay.
What we have no rights to is health information.
No, I wasn't asking about
Yeah.
that. I know, I no, just was wanting to know which words, inquire, whereabouts,
Mhm.
that's the only thing. and then unexcused absence for 3 consecutive, that's going to be taken out. Herein. Okay. So, attend all meetings to assure a quorum and promptly notify the chair should they for any reason be unable to attend or unwilling to continue to serve. The absence of a board member from 3 consecutive meetings, except for sickness, supported by the certificate of a physician, shall be termed neglect of duty and shall be a cause for removal as provided herein. After 2 consecutive months of absence, chair shall inquire on whether or not said commissioner will want to remain on the board.
I got to, after 2 consecutive months of absence, can you repeat
Okay,
that?
after 2 consecutive months of absence, did we say we're going to do it on the 2nd month? So after 1 month, or we're going, after 2 months?
2 months.
Okay. After 2 months of consecutive absence,
Got it.
chair shall inquire
Mm-hmm.
whether or not said commissioner will want to remain on the board.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then we'll just, after we'll want to remain on the board, the BOC will then send notice to the select board for its consideration to remove absent commissioner. How about if we put before the absence of a board member, can you copy and paste this?
Well, I can't copy and paste it because it's written down, so
You know,
go ahead.
You can copy and paste from yours.
Yeah,
Okay.
so go ahead.
So instead of putting unwilling to continue to serve, and then it says the absence of a board
Mhm.
member, after says continue to serve, we can then put after 2 months of absence. So
Mhm.
if you wanted to copy and paste all of that and just put it there, or however you'd like.
I can't copy and paste something that's not been written. So go ahead. After 2 months of absence, go
Okay, I thought
ahead.
you wrote this down already.
Go ahead. What do you want?
After 2 consecutive months of absence,
Mhm.
chair shall inquire about whether or not, chair shall inquire whether or not, so chair shall inquire whether or not said commissioner
Mhm.
will want to remain on the board.
Mhm.
And then after that, we'll put the absence of a board member from 3 consecutive meetings,
Okay.
right? Yeah. So this way it's showing the 2, but then if it's 3, then we're moving forward.
Okay. are we at the absent, after the statement you just said?
Yes.
We're at the absence of a board member for 3 consecutive meetings.
It says absence of a woman from 3 consecutive meetings, right?
Go ahead, start at the beginning. After 2 consecutive months
Of absence
of absence,
from meetings.
Chair shall inquire whether or not said commissioner wants to remain on the board. And then we have, after,
After what you just read, now we put the absence of a board, what you were copying from the website.
okay,
The absence
the
of
absence of a board member from 3 consecutive.
meetings.
Okay. Oh, here we go. Okay, so then we say after 3 consecutive months of absence, the absence of a board member, oh, okay, wait a minute. So do you want after 3 consecutive months of absence or the absence of a board member from 3 consecutive meetings?
No, the absence of a board member from 3 consecutive meetings,
Great.
except for sickness, you have that part, right?
The absence of a board member from 3 consecutive meetings, except for sickness supported by a certificate of a physician, shall be termed neglect of duty and shall be cause for removal. We can't put and shall be cause for removal, so shall be termed neglect of duty. I don't even think we can say that. I think we have to.
Why not? It's from the laws.
It is, but you're changing how we're going to interpret the law.
We're just copying it down.
We cannot term anything neglect of duty.
Okay, so we take out term, shall be neglect of duty.
No, I'm saying,
Shall be
I'm-
considered a neglect of their duty.
there you go.
Okay.
We say considered by the Board of Commissioners.
Okay.
As neglect of duty and shall be a cause, okay, so we can't say it's cause for removal.
No, we're gonna take that out.
Okay, so we're at the
So
comma
shall
after
be-
duty.
Shall be considered by the Board of Commissioners a neglect,
As neglect of duty,
as neglect of duty.
comma, and now what do you want to do?
And the chair of the BOC will send notice
Get rid of this. And shall be a, okay, why is this? Oh, I know what it's doing, sorry. This is a free editing software, so it doesn't act like Microsoft Word, so I apologize.
No, just take your time.
Okay, shall be termed,
Like, so we're gonna take that out. So we can't say that at all. That's why.
shall be considered by the Board of Commissioners as neglect of duty.
Right.
Okay.
And once you have that, you can put a period there, and then you will say the chair
Mhm.
of the BOC.
I thought you,
No,
okay, wait a minute, hold on. Do you want to say after 3 consecutive months of absence?
that's what we said already. Remember after?
Okay,
the
yeah,
two-
got it.
Okay. And the final would be after the neglected duty period.
Got it.
The chair of the BOC
Mm-hmm.
will send notice to the select board.
I thought we were gonna,
This is the final part. So basically what it's going to say is, the chair of the BOC will send notice to the select board for its consideration to remove the absent commissioner. So we're going to keep everything, like formal notice to resign requires written notification to the chair, the ED, and the town clerk. So after neglect of duty,
got it,
we're going to say the chair of the BOC
got it,
will send notice to the select board
got it.
for its consideration
Mm-hmm.
to remove the absent commissioner.
I'm gonna say in removal of, because, but I get what you're saying.
Well, like you said, we can't suggest it, it's just we can only say consideration.
But that's what I'm saying. The BOC will then send notice to the select board for its consideration in removal of absent commissioner.
In removal or to remove.
Yeah, it's the same thing, but it's more formal language to say.
Well, this is just what you wrote previously, I'm not changing anything.
Okay,
I
so go
just
ahead.
added that. Yes.
Anything else?
So the chair of the BOC will send notice to the select board for its consideration of removal, not to remove, right? That's what you're saying?
Shall be considered, okay, wait a minute. Let's just read the whole thing. So this is what I, after the unwilling to continue to serve period, after 2 consecutive months of absence from meetings, the chair shall inquire whether or not said commissioner wants to remain on the BOC. The absence of a board member from 3 consecutive meetings, except for sickness supported by the certificate of a physician, shall be considered by the BOC as neglect of duty, period. The chair,
Of the BOC.
I've already got that, thank you. The chair of the BOC will then send notice to the select board for its consideration in removal of the absent commissioner.
Okay.
Okay,
And then the final part, it's still part of that same paragraph, formal notice to resign.
yeah, I've already
You
got
have
that.
that one? Yeah.
Well, Rich and I wrote that one,
Well,
so.
I'm just making sure that we're going to include that now.
Yes, of
Okay.
course.
Formal notice to resign from the BOC requires written
Yes.
notification to the chair, the ED, and town clerk.
Yes.
Okay.
And sometimes we can't get a formal
Right.
notice to resign, and we have no communication, and then we have to, there's a state process.
Well, the reason why I'm mentioning that is because you've sent information to the town to ask for removal without a resignation or without a letter. So should we even include formal notice?
No, we should, because
or-
sometimes people just want to formally resign.
Or if.
And now we're telling them how.
So, in retrospect, maybe this should say, if commissioner wants to resign, we require a formal notice.
It's not we, it's the state,
Well, you
so,
know what,
yeah. That, we're just telling them here, okay.
okay, so after removal of absent commissioner,
Mhm.
in the intent that a commissioner would like to resign, the BOC or the town board requires a formal notice. And you can add that to whoever, or include whatever you'd like.
I think it's clear how it is, but what do you think, Rich?
Reason why I'm saying is because it's right after the removal request.
Okay, then let's
So-
put it up above so it's clearer.
So you wanted to put it
We'll put it above about people not coming to meetings without, you know, they haven't noticed that they were. Okay, come on. Oh, I have to. So we can move that up, if my thing will do it. We can, so see where we're saying attend all meetings to assure a quorum, blah, blah, blah. And then attend or unwilling to continue to serve, we can put formal notice to resign from the BOC requires written notification to the chair. We can put it right up there.
And
And then we can pick out, we can then go on with the paragraph
After the
you're
2 months.
suggesting. Yeah.
So you're saying to move, formal notice to
Mhm.
resign from the BOC requires written notification to the chair, the ED, and the town clerk. And then it's going to say after the 2 months.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it
Yeah.
makes it a lot clearer.
Yeah, I'm just-
Yeah.
So she's going to put formal notice, can you see it? Let me lighten this up. So she's going to put formal notice to resign from the BOC. She's going to put that right after serve,
Okay.
before the after 2 months.
Okay.
So this is going to be before that, and then it's going to say, well, after 2 months, this will happen, and then after 3 months, this will happen.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Does that make, that sound good?
Yes.
Okay.
A little pen light for real.
Nice.
Isn't that something? When I went to the Mass Naro, they were giving out stuff like this, and I was like, this is perfect. I don't have to look for a flashlight, and it's great.
Right. Okay, so, after that is.
Oh, let's just go over what you just wrote down, so we'll all hear it.
Okay. Attend all meetings to assure a quorum and promptly notify the chair should they for any reason be unable to attend or unwilling to continue to serve. Formal notice to resign from the Board of Commissioners requires written notification to the chair, the ED, and the town clerk. After 2 consecutive months of absence from meetings, chair shall inquire whether or not said commissioner wants to remain on the board. The absence of a board member from 3 consecutive meetings, except for sickness supported by the certificate of a physician, shall be considered by the BOC as neglect of duty. The chair of the BOC will then send notice to the select board for its consideration in removal of the absent commissioner.
Excellent.
There
Thank
we
you.
go.
Oh, that is great, right?
Now, was there anything else on section A? Because I think I might have some,
Okay.
but do you have anything else
No,
on
no,
section
everything else
A?
was fine.
Okay, so I had to add, I thought I had, but it didn't, is to comply, so commissioners shall,
Where are you?
at the very top of section A,
Okay.
to add a bulleted item, commissioners shall
Mhm.
comply with Robert's Rules of Order during all regular, special, and executive session meetings, period.
Robert's Rules of Orders
Mhm. We actually
Comply.
voted on comply.
with,
Robert's Rules of Order.
right, comply with Robert's Rules of Orders.
During all regular,
Okay.
special, and executive session meetings. And there was a,
Okay.
yeah,
Yes.
and there was another section that was in section A that I thought it would make more sense to move to section B, and that's, do you see on there, on your copies, it says actions taken at official Board of Commissioners meetings are binding, and no individual commissioner alone can bind the, that we move that down to Hadley, B, section B, conduct in relation to Hadley Housing Authority. Because this is it's a Hadley Housing Authority issue. We can either do that or change the wording, which I can't figure out how to change the wording and still have the same meaning, that it would comply with the preamble of commissioners shall. If we could reword it, that would be great. But
So when you say outside of such meetings, why would that even be part of a commissioner's duties outside of a meeting?
it's
Right.
not.
Yeah.
However, we have in the past suffered from commissioners making statements and actions that they have no authority to do so with other people. I think that's all I wanted to say.
Right, so actions taken in official meetings or
In other words,
comments or.
we've already said,
Actions taken in official meetings are binding and that no individual commissioner alone can bind.
the Board of Commissioners outside of such meetings. So we might have to reword it.
Yeah.
The point I'm trying to make is it takes a majority quorum vote to do anything.
Right.
The entire board, as a board, and individual commissioners are bound by the decisions in a meeting.
Right, but you were saying that in the past, commissioner has reached out and made comments about.
Or actions.
Right, or actions about what we, so
Yeah.
that is what I'm saying, should be included much
Okay.
clearer so that it
Yes,
can
I
state
mean, so-
to any commissioners here in the future that you cannot reach out to other housing authorities, you cannot reach out and to other commissioners.
Yeah, we say
and
all that.
Speak about it, but.
Right.
But that's what you just said,
So actions are,
but you
Are-
just said that, you just said you
actions
don't
are-
want them to do that.
actions are our majority quorum votes.
Right.
That's an action. Those are binding,
Right,
even if you don't like them,
right,
right?
yes,
And no individual commissioner alone
right,
can bind the Board of Commissioners outside of such meetings.
Right.
So you don't have, nobody, no commissioners have the capacity to tell anyone
right.
that they're going to, that the board will do X, Y, Z. We do not have that capacity.
Well, I
That's what I'm
thought
trying.
when you stated you did not want a commissioner to speak about any actions that we've taken or
No.
discussed with another commissioner or another housing authority. You
No.
said, yeah, I wanted.
That's not what I said.
Okay.
So, I'm talking about actions, on this one, I'm talking about actions are majority quorum votes.
Right.
Okay?
Mhm.
Taken at official Board of Commissioner meetings, which is regular, special, and executive sessions. They're binding. And no individual commissioner can then say, well, just because they voted on it doesn't mean we're going to do it. And I'm going to promise somebody somewhere, a town official or another, whoever, doesn't matter, that I'm going to change things up, we're going to do it my way or whatever. We can't do that.
I thought that was in here.
Hmm?
I thought that was in there already.
It's in there,
Okay.
but this clarifies that no individual commissioner can act alone
Right.
So what
in relation to the house.
what are you proposing we should do? You said you wanted to reword.
No, what I said was, this was in section A, and I think it's more appropriate in section B because it's in relation to the housing authority.
Right.
Because we are the Board of Commissioners with fiduciary duty to the housing authority. This clarifies that in the way that no individual commissioner can make decisions for the housing authority without a majority board quorum vote.
So you do not want to reword it then? You want to leave it as it is?
We can reword it if you want to. I'm just saying,
You just want to move it.
I wanted to move it to
Okay.
section B.
Okay.
That's all, yeah.
Okay, so is anybody else, so I've moved that to section B, if you want to, write that down on your notes, because that would be a part of changes we would vote on. And is there anything else in section A, Rich?
No, I think it's.
Crystal?
No.
You're good? Okay, let's go to section B then, Crystal. You're the reader exemplar, just go ahead.
Yeah. I'm just making sure we covered all that. B, conduct in relation to Hadley Housing Authority. Every commissioner, as well as the board, as a legal entity, has a fiduciary duty to HHA, which includes the duty of loyalty and the duty of care, and to serve the best interest of HHA at all times in good faith. We then have 3 sub-bullet points of websites for resources to look into this information. Members of the public boards and commission, resources for local housing authorities and board members, and guide for members of public boards and commissioners, chapter 3. Second bullet point, the BOC scope of fiduciary responsibility includes legal, financial oversight of the executive director and policies.
And then after that, that's when I would put actions taken at official BOC meetings, et cetera. Okay.
So then, okay. Then we will include actions taken at official meetings are binding, and that no individual commissioner alone can bind the BOC outside of such meetings. Commissioners shall not disrespect, abuse, slander, and/or act in a threatened manner towards tenants or their guests, contractors, other elected or appointed official town employees, or the public.
And I think Rich and I decided to list all those because in relation to Hadley Housing Authority, those are the people, tenants, guests, contractors. We use a lot of contractors.
Right.
Elected appointed officials, those are town employees, those are all people we interact with, or the housing authority staff interacts with, or and members of the public. That's why we list them all out, for clarity.
Excellent.
Any changes for that, y'all?
No.
Okay, so now we're to C, conduct in relation to the executive director.
Commissioner shall, first bullet point, not disrespect, abuse, slander. Didn't I just read this?
It's, yes, but it's regarding the executive director. You have, we're on the section about the
Yeah,
executive
not
director.
disrespect, abuse, slander, and/or act in a threatening manner towards the executive director. Parentheses for the acronym ED, / staff, managing agent, staff, or contractors. Not interfere in day-to-day operations of the HHA, which are under the authority of the ED. Treat the ED, staff, managing agent, staff, and contractors as professionals and respect the abilities, experience, and dignity of each individual. Refer complaints and concerns from tenants, contractors, town officials, or the public to the ED. Not issue any directive to the ED until after a recorded BOC majority quorum vote during an official meeting. Refrain from providing information to the ED that you would not be willing to share with other commissioners. Not seek assistance from HHA / managing agent staff, and are required to channel all such activities through the ED. Commissioners who interact with the HHA / managing agent staff must do so in a respectful manner and understand employees are not permitted to take direction from any commissioner on any matter. Not publicly criticize staff or contractors either within or outside a public meeting. Concerns about staff or contractor performance shall only be made to the ED through private communication.
So Crystal, you wrote something down, what you got?
Let me just, one moment.
Okay.
So this, the 5th bullet point, down, it says not issue any directive to the ED until after a recorded BOC majority quorum vote during an official meeting.
Exactly.
So can we put down during an official meeting, not issue any directive to the ED until after it's recorded? Can we put that one down?
We could, but the problem is that we're using for clarity, we're saying commissioners shall, and that wouldn't, unless we can reword what you just said, it wouldn't make sense. Because right now we have not issued. Commissioners shall not issue any directive.
Commissioners shall not, during an official meeting, issue any directive to the ED until after the recorded BOC majority quorum vote.
Well, we don't want to get the during before, like the cart before the horse, because what we're saying is, we need to help commissioners understand that they cannot ask or direct the ED to do anything without a majority quorum vote.
Right, so commissioners shall not issue during an official meeting any directive to the ED until after recorded BOC majority quorum vote.
Okay, because what you're saying is, during the meeting,
That's what
we
it says
can't
here.
issue a directive. What I'm saying is, there's been commissioners attempt to issue directives to the ED 2 weeks after the majority, 2 weeks after the meeting.
Until after recorded BOC, I'm just literally saying the same thing.
What it reads like to me, what you're saying, so say it again.
Commissioners shall not, during an official meeting, issue any directive to the ED until after the recorded BOC majority quorum vote.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is that we can't issue a directive, like when we're in a meeting, during a meeting,
Right.
we cannot issue a directive until after a majority quorum vote.
Right.
And you are correct. However, our problem hasn't been that. Our problem has been 2 weeks after the meeting, a commissioner wants the ED to do something and they don't have the right to do that. That's the thing.
So it says, okay, commissioners shall not issue any directive to the ED until after recorded BOC majority quorum vote during an official meeting. It's the same thing. This says,
I just
that's
say
written down,
it
it says
reads-
during the official meeting.
Okay,
says
it
that.
sounds cleaner to me how it's written now, that you need a majority quorum vote during a meeting before you ever issue a directive to the ED. How I wrote it is not issue any directive to the ED. That's the most important thing.
During an
Commissioners-
official meeting.
No, not issue any directive to the ED until after a recorded BOC majority quorum vote.
During an
That-
official meeting.
Yes,
That's what it says.
but what I'm focusing on is, and your version does not read that cleanly to me, is we've had commissioners order the ED to do stuff without a majority quorum vote. I'm not talking about during a meeting.
It
I'm
says
talking
here,
about-
during an official meeting though. That's why.
At the very end, and the connector is a recorded Board of Commissioner majority quorum vote during we can say held during an official meeting.
No, we
So,
don't need help. I'm just, because what I'm saying here, it says commissioners shall not issue any directive to the ED until after a recorded BOC majority quorum vote. I'm just saying, let's put a period after the vote and just include this in the beginning instead of having it as an extension of that full sentence. That's all I'm saying. So this way, it's clear in the beginning of the sentence.
let's come back to it, because it's not,
You cannot issue any directive to the ED, executive director, during an official meeting until after a recorded BOC majority quorum vote.
when you're making the subject during an official meeting. And what I'm saying is, I'm focusing on, you cannot issue a directive to the ED. We could say unless there is a recorded Board of Commissioner majority. I'm telling you, we've had,
Right, but
Big problem.
we're thinking of going forward, not from the past.
You're saying after the fact, after a meeting, you're
Well,
saying a commissioner has said something to the ED, which he shouldn't have.
Right.
exactly.
So what I'm saying, this is what it says here. Not issue any directive to the ED until after recorded BOC majority quorum vote. I'm saying let's put a period here.
Yeah.
And let's highlight, you commissioners shall not issue any directive to the ED during an official meeting and shall wait until after a recorded BOC majority quorum vote.
Yeah.
But she said
That's what I'm saying.
I just,
But what, okay.
I'm confused.
Now, I think we've got, what is that line? Is we've got a difference with, a distinction without a difference? It's the same thing.
But I just said that and you said no, it's
No.
not highlighting the subject.
It depends on the meaning you're given the words. So you know what I'm trying to say.
Right.
I know what you're trying
Right,
to say.
and that's why I said let's not.
And I'm
let's move
saying
forward.
the distinction is without a difference when what's listed here says it clearly unless you're saying it's not clear.
It's not really clear, because we're handing this to people who, going forward, years down the line, unless this is amended again, is going to read this. Commissioners shall not issue any directive to the ED during an official meeting and shall wait until after the recorded BOC majority quorum vote.
And what I'm saying, that does not
And we can
address.
move on from this if you'd like and just keep going.
Okay. Do you have anything to say?
So we're going to come back to that so we can try to highlight the importance of the official meeting and the directive, because there have been meetings that I've attended where commissioners have, during the meeting, made directives to the ED which they shouldn't have. And comments have been said by any board member, you know, towards the executive director. So that's why I'm saying this should be highlighted in the meeting.
Then let's rewrite it so it addresses your concerns and also addresses the long history of commissioners think they can order the ED around when they cannot. And that's outside of the meeting. They would come over here and tell the ED to do this, that, or the other thing of the staff. That's what we need to stop.
Doesn't it say not interfere in day-to-day operations of the HHA, which are under the authority of the ED? Treat the ED staff, managing agent staff, and contractors as professionals and respect the abilities, experience, and dignity of each individual. Shall not disrespect, abuse, slander, and/or act in a threatening manner towards the executive director, ED staff, managing agent. So it already says that in the first one.
It does not. It does, none of that you just read, that Rich and I wrote, addresses commissioners thinking they can order the ED around, like walk over on a Wednesday after the Tuesday board meeting and tell the ED to do something, direct the ED to do something. That was not part of a majority quorum vote.
So you're saying they would go to the Amherst office or wherever the executive director?
Well, they used to be here all the
Well, I'm
time.
just not going forward.
Okay.
So you're saying in the future, they will have to seek out the executive director and then make an order to them?
No, they can't make an order to the
Right, but
executive director at all.
The steps and process would
They
then go there, right?
cannot, by law,
I understand that, Reese.
okay, make an order to the executive director unless the issue was addressed and the entire board has voted yes.
Okay. We can,
But then also, that's where the ED comes in. She says, well, I cannot
exactly.
react to this request you're doing without a board vote, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we can't, as commissioners, we can't ever ask the staff to do anything.
Right, but what
Right.
you're saying.
That, I understand, I'm agreeing.
Okay. So that was, we're going to come back to the directive, and you said you wanted to add something, or did you want to leave what's already here as far as disrespect or abuse? I know you're regarding and speaking on past occurrences, but I'm thinking we should move forward, and whomever is part of the commission will abide by the not disrespect and so forth. But if you would like to add what you're speaking on, should not seek them out and so forth, we can do that as well.
Where
Would
are
like-
you at to not see?
Well, after
What are you talking about?
after I wrote after we spoke on during official meeting,
Mhm.
I said refrain from providing information to ED that he would not be willing to share with other commissioners.
Mhm.
And then I read the rest and then got to the last bullet point, and you said, I want to also state they cannot seek out and go to the executive director and demand them to do things.
That was part of not issuing a directive.
Okay, so that's what I just said. After I finished the bullet points, you said you wanted to add something, and that's what you wanted to add, right?
We've already talked about not issuing a directive to the ED.
Okay. No worries.
I guess,
Yeah, let's just move on then. Are we able to move on?
okay.
So now we're down to section Roman numeral 4, distribution and education.
Okay. The first bullet point, the BOC shall direct the ED to provide a copy of this policy to all elected and appointed commissioners upon its issuance and upon the subsequent appointment or reappointment of any individual commissioner. Each commissioner shall sign a statement that they have read this policy and will comply with all, policy and will comply with all requirements set forth in this policy. In the event that any member declines to sign the form, that fact shall be noted by the ED on the form and reported by the ED to the chair, who shall report to the BOC in an open public meeting. The ED shall maintain a file on each commissioners containing certificates of completion of required trainings and elective courses taken. The ED shall notify the chair of the status of each commissioner's training file upon request. The chair then informs the BOC in public meeting of the receipt of such certificates, correct? That's what
we're talking about. is
Okay,
the
so I'm just gonna
certificates of- Okay,
yeah.
so let's see, give me the verbiage you want to use.
One moment. The ED shall maintain a file on each commissioner containing certificates of completion of required trainings and elective courses taken. The ED shall notify the chair of the status of each commissioner's training file upon request. The chair then informs the BOC in a public meeting of the receipt of such certificates.
We could say, sounds good.
Okay.
You could say, training certificate?
No, just certificates, because we've already stated what type of certificates we're going to receive, the trainings and elective courses, and then they'll just, in the public meetings, notify that we have received all receipts, or we're missing such and such receipts. So this is what,
Okay, so of the receipt of certificates.
yes,
Okay.
okay? And now I just wanted to go back to number 4, second bullet point. Each commissioner shall sign a statement that they have read this policy and will comply with all requirements set forth in this policy. In the event that any member declines to sign the form, that fact shall be noted by the ED on the form and reported by the ED to the chair, who shall report to the BOC in an open public meeting. I don't think that if they refuse to sign this, they should not be a commissioner.
No, but we don't.
So it says here, it will be reported by the ED, the executive director, to the chair, who shall report to the Board of Commissioners. And what are we going to talk about then?
We just report that that commissioner has refused to sign.
Okay, so report to the BOC in an open public meeting, that the
We
commissioner.
were already saying, I don't think we need to, but shall sign a statement that they read this policy and will comply with all the requirements in the event that any member declines to sign. I want to say any commissioner. Any commissioner,
So any commissioner, not each commissioner?
in the event that any commissioner declines to sign the form,
Okay, wait a minute, any commissioner.
declines to sign the form, that fact shall be noted by the ED on the form and reported by the ED to the chair, who shall report to the BOC in an open public meeting.
That the commissioner
Well,
has not
you're
signed the
already-
policy.
Well, yeah, but it already says that.
But what are we going to say in an open meeting, such and such didn't sign the policy?
Yeah,
Or are
but
we going to know, just, are we going to state the,
we're going to inform the Board of Commissioners, so the ED will tell the chair.
right, I read that. What I'm asking is, in the open meeting, are we going to state the importance of having this sign to continue to be a commissioner?
We can't do that. We have.
What are we
no
going to talk
authority.
about then?
We're just going to know that this particular commissioner, whoever it is, has refused to sign the code of conduct.
Right, on camera, right?
Well, all our
Right.
meetings are on.
Exactly,
So we're just
and
gonna,
we can't say that in order to be a commissioner, so where can we get that permission from to state that? We can't
it's
find
state
out
law,
from
you
the town.
cannot, no.
So
You
if a
cannot.
commissioner refuses to sign the policy and not abide by the rules and regulations.
We
of
don't
the
know
code
if they're
of conduct-
gonna abide by
the
it, we
code of
just know
conduct,
they
we
refuse.
still would have them as a commissioner, that's what you're stating, correct?
We cannot.
I'm asking you,
remove-
please.
I'm saying, we, as a board, cannot remove a commissioner.
So what I'm asking you
Mhm.
is if a commissioner refuses to sign the code of conduct policy or any policy that they're provided, they can still be on the commission, even if they do not sign the policy, correct?
All I'm telling you is the law.
I'm
We-
asking you if that's correct or not, just so I understand.
I'm just saying, we do not have the authority to remove a commissioner.
So they
Hard
can
and
be
fast.
on, they can be a commissioner if they do not
Mhm.
sign the policy, okay, that's all I wanted to write down.
So if you look down on enforcement, you will see our recourse. And that's section 5. Because what you're talking about is enforcement, it's not, enforcement is not addressed in distribution and education. So under enforcement, section 5.
Did you want to move forward? You ready?
Yeah,
Okay.
go ahead.
In addition to any other remedies or enforcement options available under the law, the BOC may vote to censor any elected or appointed commissioner accused of violating any provision of this code of conduct and notify the select board of the town.
That's all we can do.
Right, reading it. The Hadley Housing Authority.
Oh, no, that's nothing, that's just a,
Okay. So the only thing that changes in number 4 is each commissioner shall sign a statement that they have read this policy and will comply with all requirements set forth in this policy. In the event that any commissioner declines to sign the form, that fact shall be noted by the ED on the form and reported by the ED to the chair, who shall report to the BOC in an open public meeting.
and see,
No, that's the only thing that's changed, was commissioner from member, right?
on that particular
Okay.
bullet
Okay.
item. That's the notes I have.
Yeah, okay.
And the only thing after that would be where you added of the receipt of certificates. For the last bulleted item under section 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we already agree. I just wanted to make sure that the member
Okay.
was commissioner.
Yeah,
Okay. So now we're going to go back to C.
well, now, we're going to, yeah, go back, because we can do, well, we don't have to, did we already do motions, do you remember?
You know, we
Motion
haven't
to-
done anything.
Okay, so we're still talking about this then. So what do you, the first edit I've got is under A, is that right? Is that what your notes
C.
reflects? Well, the first edit for this document I have under,
A, you added under, you
Under
added a
co-
bullet point.
under Code of Conduct,
Right.
Section 3, A, the first one, the first bulleted item, I suggested we add, comply with Robert's Rules of Order during all regular, special, and executive session meetings.
Yes.
Is that an okay thing?
Yes.
Okay. The next one I have is under that section, attend all meetings. And what I have is, attend all meetings to assure quorum and promptly notify the chair should they for any reason be unable to attend or unwilling to continue to serve. Period. After two.
No. Remember formal notice, you said you was gonna put that in there before the after.
Oh, sorry about that. It
Okay.
won't let me yet, and I've got to go back and do my edit magic. So thank you for bringing that up. Let's see, where's my formal notice thing? Oh, formal notice to resign from the Board of Commissioners requires written notification to the chair, the ED, and town clerk.
Mhm.
New section, or new bullet item. After 2 consecutive months of absence from meetings, chair shall inquire whether or not said commissioner wants to remain on the board, period. The absence of a board member from 3 consecutive meetings, comma, except for sickness supported by the certificate of a physician, comma, shall be considered by the Board of Commissioners as neglect of duty, period. The chair of the Board of Commissioners will then send notice to the Select Board for its consideration and removal of the absent commissioner, period. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. So let's move down. So then I don't have any more edits for section C. So,
Section A?
Section A.
or section A, so for
Yeah.
B,
Wait,
Yeah,
for-
move.
right.
so for B, to add, there are no corrections except under Board of Commissioners, scope of fiduciary, blah, blah. Okay, so under that, I've got actions taken at official Board of Commissioner meetings are binding, and no individual commissioner alone can bind the BOC outside of such meetings.
And that was taken from A, conduct in relation to the Board of
Yeah.
Commissioners, and then
Mhm.
applied to B, conduct in relation to Hadley Housing Authority.
Yes,
Right.
that's it. Okay, so any more, because there was lots of talk, discussion about that, the phrasing of that. So do we have any
No.
further?
If that's what you want to keep, it, that's fine.
Okay. Under C, conduct in relation to the executive director is not issue any directive to the ED until after a recorded Board of Commissioner majority quorum vote. Maybe we should clarify and say, taken during an official meeting or held during an official meeting.
That's, yeah.
Something like that, and that would clarify.
Right, so
a bit.
commissioners shall not issue any directive to the ED during an official meeting until after a recorded BOC majority quorum vote.
I would suggest we do not add that clause in there about during an official meeting, because then that makes the subject of it only about during an official meeting when the problems have been before and after official meetings.
But it states during an official meeting,
Well, that's at the end to
Right.
clarify,
during an official meeting.
that the Board of Commissioner majority quorum vote during an official meeting, and outside of that, you can't issue any directives to the ED.
Right.
Because, yeah.
Right, but
That's why I'm suggesting we keep not issue any directive to the ED until after a recorded BOC majority quorum vote held or taken during an official meeting. And I say that to further clarify, because the problems have been, and I know you keep saying, let's move on to the future, but history is the best predictor of the future. And we have to prevent, and you weren't on the board, but I think Rich and I can both say it was terrible. That we have to clarify that. We had a whole bunch of, not their fault, we had a whole bunch of new board members who it took a long time to train up. That's what I'm saying.
I understand. I just read it again, and not issue any directive to the ED until after a recorded BOC majority quorum vote during an official meeting.
And we don't even
It's
have to say-
It's still saying during an official meeting, which is, the end of the sentence is stating, after a recorded vote, we don't do this. So if we were to let people know, you cannot issue any directive to the ED during an official meeting. You must wait until after a recorded BOC majority quorum vote.
I see what you're saying, so let's take out taken during an official meeting, because majority quorum votes only take place during an official meeting.
Exactly.
So we can totally eliminate that.
Yeah, that's fine. Shall not issue any directive to the ED until after recorded. Yeah, that's fine. We can just remove during an official meeting altogether.
Yep, so now it reads, Commissioner shall not issue any directive to the ED until after a recorded Board of Commissioner majority quorum vote, period.
Excellent, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, let's see what else.
Number 4,
Just a moment, please. Let me get this taken care of before. I need better software. Okay. So, number 4 is distribution and education. So the only thing I see there is on the second bullet where we add commissioner after in the event that any commissioner
Instead of member.
yeah, declines to sign the form, that's actually no blah, blah, blah. Does that sound okay? Rich?
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
Yep.
And then the last bulleted item for number 4 is, or Roman numeral 4, is the ED shall maintain a file on each commissioner containing certificates of completion of required trainings and elective courses taken. The ED shall notify the chair of the status of each commissioner's training file upon request. The chair then informs the BOC in public meeting of the receipt of certificates. Do you like that one?
Yes.
Okay, we had no changes for enforcement. Okay, so we've gone through all those changes. Motion to accept changes and edits of the code of
I'll make the
conduct.
motion to accept.
Second.
Okay, do we need any further discussion?
I think we have,
Then we have done it, baby.
we have.
We have done it. Okay, I call for the.
Yeah, let's go over this again.
No, wait.
I have something to add.
No. Okay, I call for the vote.
Yes.
Rich.
Yes.
Crystal.
Yes.
I vote yes too. That's 3-0, and we now have a code of conduct.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so I call for a motion to adjourn.
Yes. This
I'll
is
second.
I'll third. I mean,
You made the motion.
It's time to
I do this to time.
Thank you so much,
everyone.
Alice.
Bye, Alice.